Welcome everyone. I cannot believe I am standing here. It is the 27th of December in the Pacific Northwest, and we have yet to have a killing frost. That is until tonight, so I need to get this cilantro cut and put in the dehydrator so I don't lose it, and we're also going to check if I have any more cauliflower ready, so let's get to it. Here is the cilantro, and I planted this, probably 4 months ago. I think I planted it end of August or maybe in September. Anyway, I have to grow it here in the Pacific Northwest in the fall because the heat will just make it bolt. And so normally what I do is I grow it in the fall and early spring, and I will just come out and harvest it when it's ready. That way I can dehydrate it, and whenever we have tomatoes and all the other good stuff ready to make salsa, I have some cilantro to use. Now I could go to the store and buy fresh cilantro, but if you've been around here for a while, you know that I like to know how my food is grown, what goes into it, and I can grow it myself, so that's what I like to do. So I just take this in the spring and fall, throw it on the dehydrator, fill up my jars, and then when I'm ready to make salsa, I will just grab some of that dehydrated cilantro and throw it in. So I have my own, and when it rehydrates, it's still good, but I just cannot believe very, very rarely, and I honestly can't even remember the last time. Maybe I'll look it up on some records and see if I can find how long ago it's been that we have been at the end of December and are just getting our first killing frost. Actually, it's going to get down to 31, so technically that's freezing, but we have not even had a killing frost yet. Now, things that can't handle it, like peppers and basil, things like that, they kind of withered out when the temperatures were getting into the high 30s. I'm going to move you to this bed. If you saw the video where we planted all of this, you will know I just kind of did it in the raised beds where I had my potatoes and some of my carrots and the spinach. Oh man, the slugs are getting to my spinach. But anyway, so as I was saying, as the temperatures got down into the high 30s, my peppers, of course, all died back. Most of them I had already cleaned out of the garden anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. But dahlias that are very sensitive to killing frosts or a freeze, I still have one, and I will show it to you here in just a second. Before we move on to the next bed and finish the cilantro, look at this poor lettuce plant. It is absolutely chewed to death. So I probably am not going to get any lettuce like this one right here. This is a butterhead lettuce. I might just try to harvest some of the lettuce and get what I can off of it. We'll see. Here is the last bed that has cilantro in it. I don't know if you can see this far away, but look at these leaves. The slugs have been chewing the crap out of my potato leaves too. The problem is I like to use Sluggo because it isn't, like, it won't kill the birds if the birds eat it. But the flip side to that is the birds think that it's food. And so the little white crowned sparrows come out here whenever I sprinkle it and they eat it. And so I don't, it makes it really hard because then the birds eat it and there's none left for the slugs to eat. So I don't know. It's always something with gardening. Some of the leaves on the cilantro look like they got a little cold at one point, but not bad. All these little potato volunteers coming up. And if you've not grown potatoes before, if you don't have an area where the temperatures get down so low that your ground actually freezes, your potatoes will still stay alive down inside the soil, which is what happens with mine. These greens will come up and they will start to grow. And then we will have like a freeze tonight like we do, and potentially this one right here and the one that you saw over there, they can die back, but the potato is still living down in the ground and it will just come back up in the spring. Now you can see down here in these raised beds, I also have potato volunteers coming up. That is simply because the little ones that I forgot or I couldn't find when I was cleaning out are growing, as well as over here in this bed. So I just leave them. Okay, my video kept turning itself off, and it was because I just used my phone, and the volume tabs on the side of my phone are right where my tripod little connector holds onto my phone. And if it bumps it in any way, even though it's just the volume button, it stops recording. So if you were with me in the last video where we came down to the garden and I harvested the cauliflower, you would have seen, and I've got mostly slug damage, but I had these covered with a netting, and I didn't have any cabbage moths or cabbage moth larvae on here, but armyworms. And the armyworms come up out of the ground, so there wasn't a whole lot I could do on that. They didn't really. I had one inside. If you want to watch that video, you have to not be squeamish because I actually show what they look like and where he was hiding inside my cauliflower. But let's take a look at this one. Chickens are getting excited over there because they know they're going to get this. Look at that. I have a nice cauliflower in there. And there could potentially be an armyworm in this one too, but we'll get it cleaned up and see. But how pretty is that? Moving over here, this is the lettuce. And it is getting chewed as well. I weeded all this bed several months back, and it's been doing pretty well, but I think, it's just because the temperatures aren't that warm for the weeds to really take off. But this is getting chewed as well, and then when it rains, the dirt really gets thrown up into the lettuce. Let's see if I can show you that. Okay, so coming down here closer, see how the dirt really gets just thrown up into here with the rain. Really makes kind of a mess, but I think I'm going to cut some of these off because I have several that have cute little heads on them, and I will take them in the house and I will give them a soak, as we did with the cauliflower last week, in a saltwater bath, because salt water will release any little bugs or critters that are attached to your lettuce or other produce and cause them to float to the top, and then you can just rinse and store it or eat it. So I'm just gonna come down here. Cut off at the bottom and see how icky it all is at the bottom. I will peel off all that. This is actually rusting, so I actually waited too long. So these will get to be snacks for the chickens. That's okay. They need their fresh greens, and that's kind of what I grow the broccoli and cauliflower for in the fall. Of course, for me, for the cauliflower and the broccoli, because I love it, but I also get to give all the leaves to the chicken. So let's go take some snacks to the girls. I'm going to turn the camera on, and I have to walk through the garden and around to the outside to the chicken coop door. I actually have one into the coop and one that's just off to the side. Here in a second, you will see I pulled up a broccoli plant. I have a couple heads of lettuce. And the girls will get to chew all over these, and they will love it. Now, this time of year, I don't put any artificial light on my chickens. I believe in giving them a rest. Although, because here in the Pacific Northwest, normally it is colder by now, and they are affected by daylight, but I have found that my girls are also affected by really cold temperatures. And because it's been mild, I have one chicken that has been laying an egg almost every day, which is pretty amazing because my girls are 3 years old. And I really want to get some new girls, but these girls are kind of biatches and they pick on each other, and I'm just afraid they would really pick on the babies. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but... And I won't put my girls in a crock pot, sorry. They are just like my pets. Now, we do have a farm stand that we're working on. We're going to be showing more of that as we get some finances together for the build. But at that point, then I probably will want to get maybe some more chickens for eggs for the farm stand. This is how the girls get their vitamins and stuff from greens in the winter. Get all the broccoli and cauliflower harvested. I just leave the green plant in the ground and just slowly either pull up a plant at a time or pick off some leaves and feed them to the girls so that they can get their nutrients. So here's what we ended up with. I got a fairly nice head of cauliflower, a smaller one of cauliflower, and then this is all of my cilantro that I need to wash. And let me show you. This is what I mean when I say my dahlia is still going strong. I still have bloom heads on my dahlias, even though they're not going to make it now because it's going to freeze tonight. And look at all this beautiful parsley. I actually have more parsley than I know what to do with at the moment, but it is beautiful. And because it's been so warm, my spring blooming anemones decided that they would bloom too. So I'm going to take the cauliflower and the cilantro up into the house, and I'm going to get it all cleaned up and put away. So here we are up in the house. I have it put into the sink in cold water to get all the dirt rinsed off of it. Then I gave it a good old spin in my salad spinner just to get it as dry as possible. And here is how much dirt was left. Thankfully, we got that all off the leaves. And here are all of my trays that fit into my dehydrator full of cilantro. Although I'm not a fan of the smell, it's going to be awesome. And the cauliflower, I didn't find any nasty bugs in it, so I got it all cut up, packaged up, and for the freezer. Just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It means the world to me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.